Hello and welcome to the Shine the Light On podcast. My name is Eli Brown, founder of Shine the Light On. Shine the Light On was created after I went through a personal struggle with mental health. After I came through the other side of my challenges, I wanted to create something that would be a platform for youth all around the world to share their story. Each week, we will have a new guest to discuss how mental health has touched their lives. Thank you so much for tuning in. Our first guest is Blake Horstmann from the reality TV show The Bachelor. On this episode, we are talking everything from reality TV, cyberbullying, anxiety, and how he is impacted by mental health. Thank you for everyone tuning in right now. My name is Eli, and this is the first episode of the Shine the Light On podcast. We're here with Blake Horstmann from the show The Bachelor, and welcome and thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. First guest, I feel honored.
yeah, episode 1. It's exciting. We got a couple technical difficulties, but we're here now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, how have you been holding up during all this?
Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, I guess, I'm healthy. I'm here in Denver, Colorado currently. Been holed up here for, I feel like it's been 6 weeks now, 7 weeks. So yeah, like I said, I'm healthy, can't complain. I've been picking up some new hobbies here and there, trying to keep myself busy, but all in all, pretty good.
Any new books, movies? What are the new hobbies?
So I've always been a big time binge watcher when it comes to like Netflix and Hulu and all those types of things. So I've pretty much watched every show possible, but I picked up the electric guitar. I've been playing that a little bit. The saxophone, I actually played the sax when I was younger. So I went ahead and bought another one, and I've been practicing trying to remember how to do that. But just things like that, things I definitely would not have the time to do otherwise.
Yeah, that's what I've been finding actually so amazing about going through this. I mean, it's been extremely tough going through isolation and everything that's going on, but have finally had time to do things that I've always wanted to do and catch up on things that I've always gotten behind on. Yeah,
exactly. I was going to say, I've been telling people, because I know, honestly, it's sad because I feel like I know more of my friends who've been laid off than have a job right now, which is terrifying and sad. But also a lot of them kind of taken it as an opportunity to maybe, they didn't really like their job or they weren't in love with their job or what they did. So they're taking this opportunity to find something that they're passionate about, something, a new job or a new hobby or something like that. So everybody, we're in this all, I hear it's almost said too much, but we're all in this together. So it's been cool to see how everybody's kind of taking it upon themselves to, look inward and find something out about themselves during all this. So.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things about this is for me, like the first time in my life where I feel like I've been connected to absolutely everybody. Like there's very few things that have happened in my life so far where I'm just like, wow, everyone in the world is going through the exact same thing that I'm going through right now.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I'll be honest, normally I have really bad FOMO, like fear of missing out. And like, I'm not missing out on anything. Like none of us have anything going on.
So we're all missing out on everything here.
Yeah, exactly. We're all missing out together. And like the other night I was on a Zoom meeting with like 4 friends from college. I hadn't talked to them in like 10 years, but we decided to get a Zoom together and talk. So it's kind of in a weird way, it's brought a lot of us together, like you said. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And you're saying Netflix, you see Tiger King?
I have watched Tiger King. It's like the first 2 days it was out, I binged it.
Yeah, I did Tiger King, Money Heist, Outer Banks.
Yep.
Outer Banks was actually really good.
It was impressive. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm already looking forward to season 2. I'm pumped.
Yeah, and you see Too Hot to Handle?
I watched like the first 3 episodes, but I didn't watch that whole thing.
It was pretty good.
I felt like was it? I feel like I should watch it. I mean, I saw it's blowing up. Like the people on it are like huge right now on Instagram. I saw, so it's kind of crazy.
And what's this new show that The Bachelor's doing? The singing one?
Yeah, Listen to Your Heart. Last night actually was episode 3. It's good, I guess. I didn't really I wasn't like super excited for it. I think it was being incredible, but it's exactly what I expected. Like it's nothing crazy new, no new method. It's pretty normal. Just with musicians. It's paradise with musicians is what I say. So
yeah, and I guess no paradise is happening anytime soon.
From the looks of it, they haven't officially canceled it yet, but I just don't see how they could do it. I mean, it's supposed to start filming basically in 5 weeks, roughly 5-6 weeks. So maybe if they test every single person before and then literally quarantine everybody for 14 days before the show, maybe they could do it, but That's a lot.
Yeah, I feel like filming the quarantine process would probably be just as entertaining as the actual show itself.
You're so right. Have like Zoom dates from their like hotel rooms and stuff, and like Zoom, I don't know. It'd be an interest. It'd be kind of cool. I mean, something different.
Yeah, I honestly think you should pitch Chris Harrison on just putting a bunch of Bachelor contestants back in the mansion with some GoPros and just live stream the whole thing. It would help us all get through quarantine much easier.
I know, right? It would. I feel like it's like Big Brother, basically. Like, just go do a Bachelor Nation Big Brother. Just lock us in that house.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. We'd all lose our minds. We lose our minds anyway. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, because when you guys are filming, how long is that process?
So for the Bachelorette, I obviously made it to, the very, very, very end. It was roughly about 2.5 months, roughly. Okay. So about 10 weeks. Yeah. So that process is a little longer, 10 weeks, especially because even after the final episode is filmed, I then went to London for 5 days and like debriefed, I tried to like heal, and I like gave me, time to like kind of relax a little for 5 days. And then I finally flew home. So yeah, it's about, 10 weeks, 10, 11 weeks. And then Paradise max is about 4 weeks max. So it's pretty quick.
The whole process is 4 weeks long?
4 weeks. Yeah, Paradise is 4 weeks long.
At least 2-3 months.
I know, a lot of people do. And that's what's insane if you really think about it. Like, all these people that get engaged, it's like you literally only knew them. I mean, even the Bachelorette's crazy, 2.5 months, but 1 month, 4 weeks, sometimes not even that. It's wild.
Yeah, that's a lot of drama for 1 month.
Yeah, well, they cram it in, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because you were on the show last season?
I was on Paradise in 2019 and on Bachelorette 2018. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, because we met after that, or we reached out to you to do a mental health collection with you, because we saw what unfolded after going on that show, and it was kind of eye opening of just how people judge just from seeing something on TV and knowing that there's editing involved in it, and what happened on TV is probably very different than what actually happened in reality. But I know you're a victim of pretty bad online bullying after.
Yeah, and I think the point you made is one of the ones I didn't really realize going in, because I hadn't watched the show, but I still had an idea of like it was edited. It's not scripted. It's not scripted, but it is edited. And they have narratives they want to keep for each quote unquote character. But it's a surprising amount of people think that it is real, and like everything you're watching and the way it's unfolding is how it happened, and that's who they are as a person. And so that was a bit of a shock to me, not only through the Bachelorette, but also obviously into Paradise when things got pretty bad for me. Because obviously I was the quote unquote villain of Paradise. And so I had to deal with a lot of online bullying, and just, most of it was online. I had a couple, in person, but most of it was just all online, whether it be social media or, anything, emails, even podcasts, things like that. It was pretty hard there for a little while.
Yeah, because I remember just like reading some of it and was just like absolutely shocked, because I am a fan of the show. I watch every season of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, and I know that what I'm seeing is not. It's reality TV, but there's some editing in there, and the words that come out of your mouth are probably what you said. It's just how it's pieced together and how that can.
I was just going to say, yes, a lot of people don't know that, but in our contract, it actually said they can splice our words. They can take words we say about one person and edit it to be about another. They did that to me. They took a word I was saying about one contestant and made it seem like I said it about another. It's crazy.
Yeah, because so after the show, all the online bullying's happened. I know it put you in a pretty rough spot. As well as your family.
Yeah, absolutely. I had never really seen that side of things, because I did, I went through the Bachelorette and I was a quote unquote fan favorite. And so I never really saw how bad it could get for some people, because I'm definitely not the first, obviously, to go through online bullying. But I think what happened with mine, they just took it maybe a little too far, because there was it wasn't necessarily like funny stuff, like what I went through in Paradise, when I was accused of silencing a woman and it didn't end up being true. Like, that was like a real thing. That's when you move from reality TV into real life. Like, that's not something that is funny. And so I went through some stuff where, certain groups of people were coming after me. I had things like that. And then even when it turned out not to be true, you know, a lot of people kind of, I don't know, they were privately on my side. And that was what was really hard, was I felt very alone through that time, because a lot of people privately were on my side. But then publicly, you know, with this new social media age and how much money you can make on Instagram and et cetera, people don't, and it's hard to blame them, but people don't really put their necks out for you because it's their career, it's their money, it's their job. They're putting on the line for you. So, but at the same time, I felt so alone during that. And my family obviously saw me when I was in really, really bad shape. And I was obviously very hard on them as well.
Yeah, because that was one of the things, I mean, just that feeling of being alone and that feeling of that people can't understand what I'm going through. And then also just like the importance of that support system. And it's tough when everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of people have to do it in silence because they're scared of how they're going to then be judged. Like if they go Team Blake, then are they now going to be victims of the online bullying too? And that was like, to me, super surprising because, you know, that we reached out to you like right away. We're like, we're here. You know, talk to us, tell us what's going on. We're on your side. And then, I mean, you did that first post for us, and then it was just like unbelievable response of just like people who've gone through the same thing.
It's been great. Yeah. And, regarding my support system. So you're exactly right. I was at a point where I felt like nobody, and not many people could, but I felt like nobody could relate to me and what I was going through. But my support system, sometimes even just listening, like I didn't want to hear advice at that point. You know, when I was going through that, when the show was airing, I didn't want to hear advice. I just wanted somebody to sit and listen, almost vent to, because sometimes they'd say something, and even if it was the right thing to say, I just didn't want to hear it because like, you don't understand what I'm going through. So if you have somebody, you know, who's in that dark place, like just sit and listen sometimes, because that makes all the world. Just be there, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah,
like I just know from just being able to share your story with someone and just have them listen and understand and be there can make the world a difference.
Absolutely. And, you know, I wasn't one of those people who necessarily believed, I mean, I knew depression was a thing and anxiety, but I always thought like it was like, oh, you can rub dirt on it, get out of bed and go, you know, do your thing. But I got to the point where I literally couldn't get out of bed. You know, I would just felt like the whole world was on my shoulders and everybody hated me. And it was this weird snowball effect. It was like every day I'd be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to go for a walk around the block. And then I'd get up the next day and I couldn't get out of bed, just couldn't get out of bed. And the next day I'd be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it. And then slowly it just, the health snowball. I didn't work out. I wasn't eating right. You know, I wasn't really talking to anybody. And so everything just snowballs and snowballs. And that's where it gets scary, is how fast and quickly it can get out of hand. And I mean, I didn't leave my bed probably for 5 to 6 weeks. And so it's hard to get out of that. It's hard, but once you take one good step on the, you know, the right side, the proactive step, then it snowballs the other way. Next day you're doing 2 blocks, then 3 blocks, and you're working out, then you're, you know, running a mile, like that kind of slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time, but you can get back to kind of where you were. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I remember like for me, it started where it was like, I'd stop doing my laundry, and then it was stop making your bed, and then it was stop eating right, then stop working out. And before I knew it, it was just such a big downward spiral. And then like the recovery process was that thing. It was just putting one foot in front of the other, and it just kept building and building and building. And before I knew it, it was back on my feet.
Yep. It's exactly right. Like I remember there was one day I did finally get up and I walked to like the gas station and I got food and I walked home, and even that little 2-block walk with the sun and everything, she made like that whole, the next day I was like, wow, I feel so much better. It's just tiny steps. And then things start to get better slowly but surely.
Yeah, that was the thing that like when I look back at my recovery process, like those little milestones of like taking a shower, doing your laundry, and going grocery shopping was like a milestone, and it was something to be celebrated. And like it just makes me smile now even thinking about it. It was just like how doing those small things eventually turn into those bigger things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And for me, the biggest thing for me, I know everybody kind of had, whether it be talking to somebody or whatever, for me, the biggest thing was definitely working out. It was like feeling good about myself. So for me, I remember my biggest milestone was actually I'm a big Orange Theory guy. And I remember I went to an Orange Theory class and I got home and I was like, that was like the most normal I felt in 2 months. And I was like, that's when I knew I was like, okay, I'm going to get out of this kind of thing.
Yeah. My first Orange Theory, I puked.
Yeah. It was really hard workout.
Yeah. My sister took me.
Yeah.
You know, they put the heart rate monitor on and everyone on the screen, and I'm fairly competitive. And I was like, okay, I got it. I got to burn the most amount of points. I was puking by the end of it. And then I was like sick in bed for days after. Like it was the most intense workout I have ever done.
Yeah. It's incredible. I remember my first one, I was like, I'm going to try something new. Went to Orange Theory, and same thing. I got home and I slept for like 4 hours. I was like, what just happened to my body? Like my body was like shutting down. It's like I was so tired, so worn out.
Yeah, it was insane. So I guess what are you doing now that you can't go to Orange Theory?
Oh, so I actually bought a Peloton.
Okay.
And it's the best investment I've done in a long time, because I don't think I could do this isolation and quarantine without working out. And so I ride my Peloton every day, whether it be 30 minutes up to an hour, and then a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, and burpees.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
It's been so weird, just like how going from like being outside or just doing whatever, like going to a park, going to a restaurant, meeting up with friends, how quickly that all vanishes, and just how weird it is and how difficult it is to, work into the new normal or how we're living now.
The new normal. Yeah, I would say I feel like the last 2-3 weeks, everybody's been having a lot of trouble. And I remember I've been talking to friends, and it's just like people are starting to break down. Like they're like, I just cried yesterday for 4 hours. I don't even know why. They're like, something's happening to me. And it's wild how much we took like physical interactions for granted. And now I don't think we ever will again, or at least not for a long time. We probably will again, but not for a long time, because God, I remember I went to pick something up at a restaurant, and I talked to another person, in person. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot how much I missed this. It's crazy.
I know. It's so crazy how now we act like when we see a person in the flesh.
Yeah, I know.
And how before all this, you always see all these memes where it's just like, oh, my Saturday night, and it's just like laying in bed, and it's just like that's the best thing ever. And like that is, in my opinion, going to change so drastically after this. Like physical interaction is so important to just how we feel and how we function.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I think it's going to take a very long time to get back to normal. But that first few weekends when a couple restaurants open, it can't be 100 people at a time, but even just 15 of us going to restaurants, sit at a table, I think we'll get back to, I think it's going to be really good for people's mental health and just everything. I mean, I just think everything's going to slowly improve. So.
Yeah, I mean, I miss going to restaurants a lot.
Yeah.
Miss meeting up with friends, going out, and just having, I don't know, it's just now it's just I have no option. So I don't know if I just miss it more now than I normally would. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that to change.
Yeah, I did me and my buddies did a Zoom beer pong tournament. We just all kind of four of us. And then afterwards we just sat, it was 4 of my guy friends. We just sat around and guy talked. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's so even if it was over virtual, it was just having some guy talk for a couple hours was nice, So. Yeah,
one of the things I really noticed I started doing during this is before all this was happening, I was so busy and always working and not really connecting with a lot of friends. And now during this time, I'm carving out time every single day where I'm able to reach out to someone I probably haven't spoke to in months. I didn't even realize it was months until so now.
True. Yeah, I did the same thing. I did there's this app called House Party, and I did it with some of my college roommates. And I realized I was this has probably been around for years. We've never gotten on this app and talked. It's now, like you said, it feels like I'm weirdly in a weird way. I'm connecting with a lot of people that I normally wouldn't have, but wanted to. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and I saw you guys were doing a Zoom concert.
Yeah, we did. That was really cool, actually. And like I said, I've said, and like I said, it's overused, but we're all in this together. And so all of these musicians and friends, they're bored. Everybody's going to be bored. So they're I'd love to come on a Zoom and play for you guys. So I had Michael Ray. We had Michael Ray come on, some other people, Adam Doliak. And then even Brad Paisley the other day was I'd love to come on. They're really? And he was yeah. Why not? I have nothing else to do. Let's play music and have fun, So it's really weird. We're all in the same boat, whether you're a celebrity, whether you're, whatever. You're just all in the same boat. Everybody's bored out of their mind.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing that a little bit here in Canada. They just launched something a couple of days ago where they got a bunch of Canadian artists, and they're doing a nightly concert, which has been pretty cool.
That's really cool. Wow. That's nightly. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. And they just came out with a bunch of Canadian artists, the song Lean On Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did I don't know, they must have had 50 artists singing it.
Wow. That's cool.
Headlined with,
that's really cool.
Headlined with Bieber. That was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. That's true. I guess you're right. I forgot he's Canadian.
Yeah, he's a Canadian boy. Just came back up to Toronto.
Yeah. Wow. That's that's really cool. It's cool to see a lot of people come together doing this and not act too good, if you will, or whatnot. Too cool. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
I've hopped on some Zooms. I get people in my DMs all the time, and they're like, a lot of them are like colleges or high school, and they're like, hey, my whatever prom's supposed to be tonight, or we're supposed to be graduating here soon. Do you think you'd do a Zoom with me in my class? I'm like, why not? And last night I hopped on with maybe like 20 people from Florida University, and talked to them for like 10 minutes, and it, makes their night.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a cool thing to be able to do.
Yeah, it's amazing how such small things like that can like just make someone's day.
Yes, exactly. And that's why a lot of people always ask me, like, probably honestly the number one question I get asked, they're like, do you ever get annoyed by like when people ask for pictures or when people recognize you in public? I'm like, sometimes it can be overwhelming, but at the same time, it's not many people in the world, a handful of people are like able to make somebody's day just by being themselves. And so I'm like, I'll never take that for granted, being able to take a picture of somebody, have them smile, and then, that makes their day, or whatever. So like, it's like, yeah, it can be overwhelming, but I'll never turn down a picture. I'll never turn down time to meet somebody because it can, it can make a difference, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Are you going on anyone's Zoom tonight?
I don't, not as of now, but I might. It's honestly Monday nights. I get them a lot. And then Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Friday to Monday, I get a lot of DMs that are like, come on my Zoom. So
That's pretty funny.
We'll see.
I saw a news feature on it of like people Zoom bombing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You pop in.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty funny. And then I've been seeing like a lot of the Zooms that are going on. I was like, I wish I knew how to do that. Like I saw.
Yeah. When I use Zoom bomb.
Like you probably just enter in a random code and you get lucky sometimes,
and just pop in.
And sometimes you don't. But like I'm seeing full hockey teams like just do a Zoom thing, and I'm just like, it would be really cool to figure out a way to get in the Toronto Maple Leafs Zoom call and see what's going on.
You just pop in and like sit there silently, and all of a sudden they're like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, that guy's big fan.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. That explains it. So Caitlin Bristow did a Zoom like this podcast with Chicks in the Office from Barstool.
Yeah.
Do you know them? So she was doing it. It was like this. There's three of them sitting here looking at each other, and all of a sudden this girl pops in for 5 seconds, and they all stop talking. They look at her, and then she pops out, and they're like, "What the hell was that?" But maybe it was a Zoom bomb. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I mean, if you enter in the Zoom code, I think it's like a 9-digit code, and you just enter in random.
You see what happens.
You may get to someone good.
I might try that tonight. Maybe I'll just start Zoom bombing people.
Yeah, people would like it. I feel like people would like it way better if you did it than me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be pissed if you got in there.
That's pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, other than the Peloton, what else are you kind of doing right now to just like keep a good frame of mind? Because like I know the first couple weeks of this was really, really rough. Like just like trying to figure out what to do with my life, work, employees, like all the stuff that we do on a daily basis, and then it's like, oh, everything is shut down, and it's not like there's a timeline where it's like, okay, you guys just have to do this for 2 months. This is something that could go on for a couple more months or happen again.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the scariest part about it all. Is like you said, there's no end in sight. There's no like timeline. We don't know like we're going back to work here, we're going back to work there. So it's like this weird thing where I remember the first 2 weeks for me weren't too bad. I'm always on the go. So like I'm always traveling. And so it was nice. I was like, oh my God, I got in a routine. I'm a big routine guy, and I haven't had that for 2 years since I've been on the show. So I got into a routine, but then it got to the point where it's like, okay, when is this going to end? Because I need to get back to work out there. I need to go, I'm DJing at clubs and everything, and venues all over the country. And I was like, I want to get back to that, and start to get scary. It's like, do I have to do this the next 2 more months? It's been 2 months. It might be another 2 months. And so I'm a bit of a introvert in a weird way. Like I think people refer to it as like an extroverted introvert. When I need to be on, I can be on, I can do that, but it's exhausting to me. And I get my energy from being alone, like in my house. And so for the first 2 weeks, I was like, this isn't so bad. I could do this. But now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, I need, like we talked about, like physical interaction. I need something. I need hope, I need an end in sight. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully soon. It's going to be interesting what happens with clubs, like in DJing. It's like when they open back up, will that happen? Also, like with sports, it's like I love sports, and September is a big month for sports, and it's just but it's like I can't imagine 80,000 people now piling in a stadium a couple months from now.
No way. I don't see it. You're right. Like right now, it'd be hockey and basketball playoffs. Like this would be, and living in Denver, like the Avalanche and the Nuggets were good this year. Like I would be right now would be, every night would be a game. It'd be like hockey, then basketball, then hockey. So it's hard, but I agree. I don't see how they can, NFL. Like I just don't see how they can do the NFL or college football coming up. I've heard rumors that or baseball, that's going on right now. I've heard the rumors that they're going to do, like games without fans. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
I want to pitch all the commissioners on playing it with no fans, but each team's allowed to select one fan to represent them in the stadium. So, on one side you see the one fan from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and on the other side, for the Avalanche. And I just think, that's good social distancing. Put them on the other side of the arena. It'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah. That would be so cool. I saw in Japan, they're playing baseball games now without anybody in the crowd, but robots. They have robots moving around in the crowd so that, like, I don't know if it's, for fun, or if the players, like, when they see, interaction in the crowd, I don't know. It's weird, but it's such a Japan thing to do,
have the robots going everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like with the stuff that you see in the movies that they could probably DGI a pretty good audience into it.
You're probably right. Video games. Yeah, you're right. Look at the video games and the way they can CGI a crowd.
It would just be so weird, I think, as an athlete to be playing. It'd be like welcome to the beer leagues. This is what it's like for the average adult who's okay at sports, who goes and plays, and there's two people there watching.
Yeah, like the YMCA league. Like that's what it would feel like. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. I think it'd be weirder for the athletes for sure, because you'd make an incredible player, and then there's just silence. You'd have the coaches clapping, but like that's it.
Pretty entertaining.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, so I mean, it
would be.
Yeah, hopefully that happens soon, because it made me realize how much I miss all of that stuff.
And the way like sports brings people together too. You know what I mean? Like every Sunday you're tailgating or whatever before a football game, whatever, like brings a lot of people together. So not having that is
I mean, hopefully it gets corrected soon. Like I know a lot of the universities in the US now are starting to open up, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And it's going to be interesting what happens when it comes to college sports, because I remember at Michigan, a lot of what happens on campus is based around football and basketball. And that is half of the college experience.
Oh, at least half, to be honest. Like, I would be so angry right now if I was in college, because they didn't get their March Madness, for example, NCAA basketball. They didn't get that. Like, that's a huge part of somebody's, college experience. So it's bizarre to think how much it's changed our lives. Like, I never thought that we wouldn't have sports. That's bizarre to think. Never.
Yeah, and I mean, just even if you're like a senior on a basketball team,
mm-hmm.
And this could have been your last. If it was me, I would be deferring the draft so I can play March Madness.
Right, playing the March Madness.
Yeah, and even like the professional athletes, just like, is your contract extended into next year, or are you now free?
True. I didn't think about that. Oh, I didn't even think about contract-wise. That's wild to think.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, and even high schoolers. Like, think about some of these high schoolers who didn't get to play in their, senior year state tournament. You live for that as a high schooler. Most high schoolers aren't going to go on to the next level. You live for that.
Yeah, yes.
Sad.
So I'm hoping that after all this, people start to appreciate all the little things, like going to prom or going to a friend's house, because for me, like I saw that I was not really appreciating that stuff that much anymore. I was really taken for granted. And now that, I've gone through this and everything's gone through this, like I really value now being able to go over to a friend's house or whatever it may be, or go out for dinner and meet up with people. It's like that stuff is so important. And before I was just taking it completely for granted.
Yeah. And I think, you said it best. It's important, like for our health, like for our mental health, for our physical health, to like see other people. So I think before it was just like one of those, I saw memes, or I see memes all the time that people are like, I'm not going to go out tonight. I'm going to call in sick and hang out with my cat. But now I feel like it's going to be the opposite. Everybody's going to be out every chance they get. So we'll see. You're in Toronto, right? You're in Toronto. How is it there? Do you guys have like a open up date right now?
Not really. So there's still businesses that are still open, just with restrictions.
Right.
Like you go on the streets, there's still people there. But it's been fairly good here. We don't have, Canada's very different than the US. We have a lot less people living here in a country that's just as big.
Well, that's true. That's very good to me. I guess spaced out a little bit more.
Yeah, so we're really spread out. Canada kind of hopped on it pretty quickly. So I think that, they're starting to open up some businesses now. It's interesting which ones they're choosing to open first. And probably within a month more and more, but they'll be with restrictions, bar capacity, restaurant capacity, only 4 or 5 people in a store at a time, including employees. So, I think it's going to start rolling out over the next couple of weeks, but hopefully by end of June, beginning of July, we're kind of hitting our stride of almost going back out there now.
Yeah, I mean, Denver actually, we were really bad at the beginning of this. I think we were like the 5th worst state, Colorado, as a state. But we really cracked down on it. I think we're in like out of the top 20, 25, and we were supposed to open up on the 26th, and they pushed it at the last second. They pushed it to like May 9th. So hopefully May 9th, like you said, there'll be restrictions, which I'll take restrictions. And then I just want my gyms to open up. I want Orange Theory to open back up.
Orange Theory will definitely open back up.
Yeah,
they're big enough that they'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, it's I hope that when they do open up, though, they open it up in a way where this isn't going to happen again.
Exactly. I'm afraid of that spike again. That's because a lot of people have been talking about, because it doesn't do well in the heat. They're saying in the heat, but then when it gets cold again, it's going to spike, which is terrifying if we have to do this again.
Yeah, especially if you're in Colorado and you guys get lots of snow.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, we'd be stuck in here for like 4 months.
Yeah,
it'd be brutal. Yeah, awful.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I kind of just wanted to circle back on what you spoke about just reaching out for help, or after going through online bullying and stuff. And kind of close it up. Like, is there a piece of advice that you would give someone who is going through what you went through? Yeah.
And like I kind of said earlier, I feel like a lot of people right now are in a weird part in their life, and they're probably feeling intense anxiety and stress, with what's happening in the world. And I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid of it. Don't shy away from it. Like, feel that pain, feel that fear, and remember it, and know that you can get past it, and you will get past it. And whether you lean on friends and family, or, I reached out and I got a lot of my help from a therapist, because as much as it is healthy to talk with friends and family, sometimes you don't want to talk to them about certain things, and a therapist is that person you can talk to. And I'm still in therapy, and it helps. Just sometimes you go in there, and if you don't think you have, you're feeling better, you go in there and you leave feeling even better than you did before. And so it's a great outlet. Don't be afraid of that. And I think especially as men, we have this weird stigma around we're not allowed to ask for help, and that's not the case. Men are hurting and have the same stress and anxiety just as much as women. And so I don't think we should be afraid of reaching out for help. And I think the more people that do that, I think it helps everybody as a whole, if we're able to talk about things and open up and find that healing process.
Yeah. I'm so happy you said that. And just like on that point of just like reaching out for help and sharing your story with someone, so you can start to build that support system and get the help that's needed, whether that's through a therapist or just talking with friends. And most importantly, like what your hat says, is be a good person.
Yeah, amen. And what's really cool too, and it's something I had no idea about, was all of us kind of are in the same boat sometimes. I remember in school, it's like, if you have a question, ask it, because somebody else probably has that same question, when you're in class. Same way for mental health. Like, if you get vulnerable and you open up, trust me, somebody else out there is like, oh my God, he's feeling what I'm feeling, and then it's like okay to talk about. So the more people talk about it, the more it feels, more people feel comfortable, and it's normalized. So hopefully, don't be afraid to speak out, seek help, because you're helping somebody else. Trust me, you're definitely helping somebody else.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy you said that. And I just want to thank you so much for being our first guest ever on our podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully we got many more.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and hopefully as we get better, or I get better at doing this, you'll come back.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd love to be back. You just let me know when.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Appreciate it.